Welcome back to Planet Raconteur, where we who tell stories rule this world. Tonight is our first ever Author Spotlight podcast, where we ask our favorite authors to share stories and conversations with us. And who else would we have to join us but the Hardman of Horror himself, Mark Anthony Smith. From the Red Cape Publishing book, A is for Aliens, here is The Prairie Lures.
The Prairie Lures by Mark Anthony Smith. I don't know if I can go through it again. Even in the cold light of day, my palms are sweaty. It was supposed to be the trip of a lifetime. God, I remember being told I was going to Canada. I was asleep in the wagon at the time. I nearly fell out the door when Staff Sergeant told me. I thought I'd get charged for jumping up and down, but he laughed as I kind of lunged forward and said, "Driver Phelps, pack your kit. You're going to Canada for 3 months." My parents were thrilled, of course, and most of the other fellas were off fighting in the Gulf. I was serving in the Royal Corps of Transport. Our job in Alberta was to support the tanks on exercise and drain the town of Medicine Hat of all alcohol. We soon got used to cross-country driving down the slippery Rattlesnake Road at the British Army Training Unit Suffield, or BATUS for short. I never got used to the sub-zero temperatures, though. It was bitterly cold on the prairie. You had to wrap up at night. I went out to support some infantry troops on patrol. It started with a kick as I was awakened from a deep sleep. "It's your watch, man." Fuck, I swore under my breath. It was 2 a.m. and I had to get out of my sleeping bag to sit in a trench for 2 hours. I took a deep breath and counted to 10 and faced the biting winds. The man ahead of me was pleased to be relieved of his duty. I begrudgingly took his place as he muttered, "Thanks," and I grunted. My rifle was freezing cold and I had to wake up as I leaned against a parapet, keeping an eye open for enemy patrols. I lit a cigarette and cupped it so the cherry wasn't visible to anyone who might have been doing reconnaissance. I really couldn't be asked around at this time of night. There was a cluster of trees to my right and flat open ground everywhere else. I felt so pissed off and tired. It was cloudy. My night vision started to improve as I stubbed my cigarette out. Then I noticed lights in the trees were straightened up. They swam around like will-o'-the-wisps, and I was mesmerized by them. Then I looked at my watch. The 2 hours of guard duty had flown by. I was relieved at 4 a.m. I didn't think of the pleasant distraction in the trees for long as I shivered in my sleeping bag. I soon warmed up and sleep took over. I was later shaken again, the usual rude awakening. I counted to 10, unzipped my bed to face the cold morning. Had a quick wash that nearly froze my nuts off and I shaved. Then I ate a little oatmeal out of my mess. The day was spent cross-country driving and servicing the tank targets. I fed the gophers some cookies and then night came. I was called upon to join a reconnaissance patrol. There were reports of enemies in the woods. We set out to see how many there were and what sort of kit they had. We might have needed to call in the artillery or an airstrike if they had field guns. Our job was to stay out of trouble and not be seen. We just had to report our observations. Me and 5 other of the guys had set out on patrol, but only I came back. I can still see the fucking entrails. There was no light as we entered the forest. We had to ghost walk through the trees, and there were branches underfoot, and it was prime tripwire territory. The sky was cloudy again. We took our time so as not to alert anyone. The roosting birds in the trees were calling to each other, and I found this unusually creepy. We were cautious. Then I heard a muffled scream and I dropped to the ground. There was confusion. I waited. Someone snatched the tail end, Charlie. Oh, for fuck's sake, I thought. We had to find the last man at our patrol, but we didn't. We regrouped. There were arguments and the guys were lashing out. Let's go back. No, we have to carry on. And then somebody else said, oh, for fuck's sake. We decided to abort the recon and return to base. The missing man would be at our last rendezvous, we thought. But he wasn't there. And the trees started to close in on us. We quickened our pace as what little humor we had left turned to fear. This wasn't some crazy joke after all. There was something wrong here. And I thought there were shadows in the trees. We hurried. The shadows were real. And then I suddenly felt alone. And I was cut off from my patrol. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I was absolutely shitting myself. What the hell were those lights last night? As I thought about it, they had been strangely calming, but now the forest was a living hell. I was lost and disoriented. I stopped to find my bearings. And then I saw the bastards. They must have been nearly 10 feet tall. And they weren't Bigfoot, they weren't Sasquatches of any kind, but they walked like men. I'll never forget those dark eyes. Those dark, red eyes. It was like looking into a bloodbath. I couldn't help it and I screamed, help! Any notion of being tactical had passed. I was fighting to stay alive. I must have hit every branch as I ran. I dropped my kit and I threw up. There were steaming innards hanging off of branches like perverse Christmas decorations. It was a complete mockery. I threw up again and I ran some more. I ran all the way back and I passed out. On my return to Colchester, there were rumors. None of the guys had come back off patrol. You'll be seeing the commanding officer for manslaughter, one of the guys said. Man, fuck you, I told him. I was confused. I needed peace and quiet. Whatever those things were, they weren't wolves or escaped animals from the zoo. I think there was something more. Something not of this world. I mean, Christ, they were nearly 10 feet tall. I'm never going to recover from my Canadian trip. It was supposed to be a once-in-a-lifetime blessing. But I lost a lot of good friends to those cannibalistic savages. I'm hoping to get a job on Civvy Street. But until then, I try to stomach a few books on Indian folklore. It's too much. It's too much.
Mark once told us that story was inspired by an actual trip that he took to Canada. Now I'm okay with not being allowed in Canada. Let's see where his next story takes us. From B is for Beasts, available right now on Amazon Kindle. Here is Wood Fuchs by Mark Anthony Smith.
This is Wood Fuchs by Mark Anthony Smith. You know, it was definitely your idea to stay at this dump. Nigel doesn't reply. He's too busy looking through the grimy window that he just shoved through with a pitchfork. God, I wish we hadn't come here. The farmer who we rented this barn from for the weekend, by the way, looked really dodgy. It seemed like each of his eyes was in conflict with the other one. And maybe one of them was lazy. And he warned us about the kids. Now, they weren't really teenagers. They were grown men running through the trees. They had rifles, and I don't know why. Last night, they were trespassing. They were making stupid noises, drinking, throwing their bottles around. I think they were looking for the Wood Fooks. Maybe they were the Wood Fooks themselves. I don't know. It's hard to tell. I know strange creatures are being researched at East Yorkshire University. But me and Nigel put that down to old wives' tales. We just wanted to rent this gaff down near Godley so we could fish over the weekend. It's dark now. Well, you know, they're definitely back, stammers Nigel. Now, I'm being careful because there's broken glass everywhere. And I can't believe he reacted like a movie hero. I asked him, "Can you see anyone?" The trees are closing in. The shadow and the dark make me more alert and claustrophobic. The odd bird calls its warning signal, then gets quiet. I listen to Nigel's breathing. He falls away from the sill. What the fuck was that? He's panicking. I look out. It's quiet on the mud clearing where the crazy farmer parked his truck. There's shadows. I can see my breath. Then it comes out. Now, it's dragging one of the men, and he looks quite dead as the thing drags him. Now, I imagine a trail of blood. This thing has cloven feet like a goat, and long hair where its neck should have been. And it's snorting and bellowing like it's just right out of its snout. And oh, Jesus, those fucking eyes. I can't look at those eyes. The farmer is greeting it. "Come here, my pretty. What have you brought me?" I can see there's a leg missing now that the farmer has a torch. I can feel my heart beating. The beast lets go of the prey. It screams louder. It's like a screech. Then the farmer seems to be struggling with the creature, and he drops to the ground. "Oh, fuck, Nigel. Fuck, man, we gotta go." Nigel is gibbering something about dying. And I wait for the ape goat to pick up its corpse or whatever's left of it, and it lurches back into the trees. I start. I dash out to the farmer, and he's very, very dead. In fact, he's almost unrecognizable as his insides are steaming in the cold. There's nothing I can do for him. Jesus, I feel nauseous at this pool of nasty. I feel my legs shaking. Then I climb inside the remains of the farmer to disguise myself. Oh, the carnage is warm and sticky, and I pull his skull over my head. I hear Nigel scream. I dash closer into my second skin. Oh, God, am I too late? The wood fook is tearing at his arm. It smells of dead pilchers amongst the copper smell of blood. Nigel has stopped pleading. I gulp for air. "There, my pretty, what have you brought me?" It lurches around with its red, mottled eyes. Its sinewy pelt is matted with my friend. It bares its horrible teeth as it looks down at me. I think I've bitten off more than I can chew here. These things aren't stupid. I can feel my bowels loosen up. The thing is eyeing me up and down. Then it bares its teeth. Then it offers the best of Nigel to me, and I want to throw up. My head is spinning, and I know I can't outrun this creature. Several more are coming out of the night, apparently lured by the smell of spilt blood. I know I can't run for it. I take part of my friend. Oh my God, it was a really bad idea coming to this farmhouse. We sensed this in the car because the roads were too quiet. And then we saw how isolated this place is. But Nigel was so excited. He talked about gutting trout and eating it with the instant mashed potatoes we brought, cooked on our portable stove. He made big gestures about the fish that we were going to catch with his arms outstretched. I almost laugh with panic now. Nigel's arm is torn off. What am I going to tell his parents? I nod. I bite into my childhood friend and try to think of sushi. I chew as I try to look appreciative. My children gather and feast. It seems that I've managed to outwit them. I tear at Nigel's flesh to save my life. I think it would want that now. I chew and think of sushi. Then I realize the meat's not so bad. I bite again. I rip at him with hunger. The beasts are feeding too. Then a claw reaches for my face. I pull back, but it squeezes the farmer's chin until the head falls back. My face is covered in a clammy death. The thing rises up. It towers above me as I scramble to my feet. The skin falls away from me like a horrible, grisly overcoat. I need to think fast. I can see Nigel's pitchfork over there. I drop to my knees again and scramble. One of the ape-goat creatures beats me to it, and I scream as the prongs embed in my stomach. I do the best I can to pull away. The thing lunges the fork at me again with its primitive claws, and I fall beside what's left of the farmer and my friend. These things are hungry for flesh. I think about displacing myself. I'm past thinking about fish. I can't. I start to pray with a faith that I've just found. I'm not sure what to ask for. I feel a claw inside of my belly. It pulls as I feel something tear and give. Am I losing consciousness? The light is dimming as the beast turned to me. Am I trying to think of somewhere else as my bones are stripped of the flesh? I feel naked and exposed to the night that will always be black. It will be dark. I feel cold. I'm naked. I hope to see Nigel again.
And there you go. 2 creepy tales from the Hardman of Horror. MarkAnthonySmith.com. The following is our first of hopefully more Author Spotlight podcasts. We hope you enjoy our conversation with Mark. And thank you once again.
Hello.
There he is.
Hey.
Oh, no, too much. It's the 3 from Planet Raconteur. All 3 of them.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yep.
I don't know if I can. I mean, I'm the Hardman of Horror, but even I can't grasp 3 times. How are you doing? Are you all right, everyone?
We're doing
Beautiful. Beautiful, man. Been waiting for this, man. I've been really looking forward to this myself.
Yes.
Yeah, me too, yeah. Is it nice and warm where you are?
It's starting to. You know what? We're in 3 completely different locations here, in the States, and it's probably always warm where Dave is, but up here it's starting to cool down. You know, I think it's. You know, it's nice and comfortable today, but then, you know, it's pretty much going to fall off a cliff pretty soon.
You might need to put a jumper on then.
Might need to what?
You might need to put a jumper on then if it's going to get cold.
Yeah. I'm prepared. You know, I'm prepared for it.
Yeah, be prepared. Yeah.
So how you doing, man?
Are you recording this yet, or?
Yes, I'm recording it all.
Oh my God.
So we could just.
I need to come up with a deeper voice.
Yes, you do. Come on now.
Wow, that's great. Because you did such a great job of All You Can Eat. I just love it.
Thanks, man. I love that story. Love that story.
I know. I think you started with a good story, but we got the right narrator, and then Yuck did a fantastic job with the video.
Thanks.
It's just great all round. Everything came together. It's great.
Hell yeah, thanks, man. We had a good time.
But
We
I'm saying
wanted to...
Planet's gone from... Is Yuck there?
Yeah, I'm right here.
I'm just saying, how many subscribers did you have when I first jumped on board? 'Cause you've got about 4,000 followers now.
Yeah. Probably like maybe one. They're not even. When we first talked to you, we didn't even have a Twitter, right? No, we did.
It's just...
Yeah, we did, right? Papa.
It's gone crazy, hasn't it?
Yeah, we've been kicking ass.
Which is good.
Hell yeah, we're trying to hustle with it. It's pretty cool because the writing community is really taking. They take care of each other so far that I've seen. You know, everybody's.
Oh, they do, yeah.
Yeah, it's not like that with other, with comedy or
Other communities.
Yeah, other communities on Twitter. It's not like that.
Yeah, but this is just amazing, man. From what the guys are telling me, because I'm not on social media, but yeah, man, they keep updating me on how our numbers are just growing exponentially, and everything has been positive. There has been no negativity whatsoever, and there's just so much support, man. It's a beautiful thing to see.
Yeah, I mean, you're putting out loads of great stories.
Thanks, man.
Loads. That one, the earlier one, the first one I listened to, it was Meat, I think.
They're made out of meat.
Out of meat.
Yeah. Yeah. It was great.
Thanks, man. Yeah, we're
But yeah,
super proud of
podcasts,
that.
wow. A lot of people like podcasts.
Yeah.
I'm surprised at how well audiobooks do. They do really well, apparently more in the States.
The audiobooks, yeah.
People listen to a lot of... Yeah.
Yeah. That's Well, this is Planet Raconteur. This is our artist author spotlight. We have Mark Anthony Smith. You see how I said your name right that time?
You did, yeah. Hello. Hi there.
Hey.
Thanks for listening.
How you doing?
Thanks for being here, man.
You're welcome. I'm there, but I'm not. I'm there in spirit and voice.
Yes. That's a blessing. So how long have you been writing? I mean, did you go to school? Did you go to university for writing or literature or anything?
Gosh, I did. I started going to uni when I was about 33, quite late, really. And I started doing like an English degree, but I transferred to social sciences. So I graduated with social sciences. I've been wanting to write. I'm now 47. I wanted to write in my 20s. And actually, when I was about, I think, 21, I sent some chapters to a big publishing house. And they said it was a bit gory and all that. So anyway, I didn't do any writing for a while.
So you've always been into horror? You always been into the horror genre? Obviously.
No. I've always, when I was in my 20s, I used to read a lot. You know, James Herbert over in the UK, everyone knows him. But my first two books, I've got two books out at the minute. The first one you can give to your grandma is poetry. The second one is poetry and prose. There's nothing in there. The second book gets a little bit darker, but my third book's coming out next month, and that's really dark. Really dark.
Nice.
So, yeah, but my first book, Hearts of the Matter, you can give that to grandma. Get her it for Christmas.
What is it? What is the first one called? What is the first one called?
Hearts of the Matter.
I'm sorry, say it one more time. I was talking over you.
Hearts of the Matter.
Hearts of the Matter.
Yeah. That's a book of poetry, that. So that was my first book. And then my second book is Something Said. And that's got, my writing really took off when I went on Twitter. There's just loads of small press on Twitter. And so I've been published. It's only really in the last year that it's really, really taken off. And that's discovering the small press on Twitter.
Yeah, social media can be a good thing when used properly, and people aren't throwing fireballs at each other. It can be a really good thing, and that's what we've been seeing.
Right, it is, especially with the networking and like-minded people and what have you. Yeah, if there's a common good out there, people want to read and people want to write. And the writing community is fantastic for that.
Yeah, that's absolutely what we have been seeing.
Yes, we're so used to it the other way. We're so used to the negative sides of social media with all the other podcasts that we used to do or currently work on.
Yeah, I've made comment a couple of times to the guys that, I mean, it's so refreshing to be around these wonderful writers, and not just writers, readers as well. Because there are a lot of readers that follow us on Twitter who follow the writers, and it's, dude, it's just a wonderful experience, and it's been a wonderful experience, and especially, and let me go ahead and get the party started here, especially meeting people like you.
Absolutely.
You have been, kind of a light. No, not kind of. Let me rephrase that. You have been a light for us since pretty much, 2 or 3 shows in. And we are so grateful at the way you have trumpeted our presence and championed us and given us props. That, man, when we decided that we want to do some artist spotlight stuff, we had to start with you.
Yes,
because you have been such. And I hope.
Oh, I'm pretty choked hearing that. But yeah, you put out Planet Raconteur put out some really good stuff. You continue to, and it is. I mean, there's loads. Planet Raconteur are fantastic. I mean, I love Spelk as well. That's where they published me one of my first stories. Fiction Kitchen Berlin, Fat Cat. There's loads. There's loads of really good small press. And there's loads of opportunities. But going back to what you said about the readers, I mean, the best thing for a writer, really, is feedback. And there is that close, with the writing and reading community, there is that close-knit community. And, for instance, just authors, it's easier to get hold of authors and comment on their work, and you can grow. You bounce off the readers and keep testing yourself and keeping it fresh as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's fantastic. The writing community and the reading community, fantastic, really close-knit. And for anyone that's not really heard of it, I'd say go and have a look on Twitter. But I've had loads of, opportunities on there. I've been published in probably over 30 small press. My third book's coming out next month, which is Keep It Inside. Mm-hmm. And that's going to be quite dark. And also there's, the other thing as well, do you know you're saying about the writing community and what have you? I've got, I'm in an anthology at the end of October. It's hashtag It Came From the Darkness. There's really big names attached to that. So have any of you guys seen Zombievers, the film?
No.
No.
I say yes. There's an actress out of Zombievers. She's in there. She's written a poem. And also I think someone that was involved in Saw. Do you know in the writing of Saw? I've not seen it. But yeah, there's some really big artists, filmmakers, writers, and that's It Came From the Darkness. That's for charity. And I was really lucky. It was through Twitter that I got involved in that. It was Red Cape Publishing, PJ Blakey Novis, and also Philip Rogers. And then that anthology comes out at the end of October, and it raises funds for like poorly children and what have you. So that was, that's how close-knit the writing community is.
Yeah, man. It looks like a good network. Good things are happening for you, man, and that's just amazing, man. You said that you really things really started to take off for you, or you really started getting into it seriously at 33. You said, or you went to school at 33. Because you and I are roughly the same age.
Yeah, I'm 47 now. But yeah, I went to uni, finally got there when I was about 33. And then I graduated when I was 40, the big 40, not 50, crikey. That's coming around the corner. I graduated in social sciences, and I think I changed to social sciences for two reasons. One, I was working in the NHS at the time, and the other thing is, I was reading a lot of Charles Dickens, and if you've read Dickens, then you'll know a lot of his novels are based in the social, and that's why I got dragged from kind of literature onto, social sciences.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's the story. So, I graduated when I was 40. And then it's only recently I've really started writing, perhaps in the last year.
That's extremely cool and encouraging for people. Like, a lot of us are getting started with things. Like, a lot of us were, I'm all for education, but we came up during a time when we were pushed to further our education before we even reached high school, and there's a lot of pressure there. And it's a good thing to do if you're ready for that, but if you miss a few years or whatever, it's not necessarily the end of the world, and definitely good things can happen. And a little bit later in life, you're proving that. We're all having a whole hell of a lot of fun doing this, working with you, working with your incredible stories.
Thank you.
It's just amazing, man. We're fans, and I'm going to be a little bit all over the place for a minute. When we first did your story, first we were just drawn to it. I was happy to read it, and when Yuck actually first spoke to you, Yuck and Dave, when they interacted with you, they came back to me and said, "Dude, he's one of us."
Yeah, exactly.
Like, he's one of us. He has a sense of humor. He's a regular down to earth dude. He seems to like us. So
I know.
Man.
Yeah.
The last time when we talked on the phone, all we did was like make jokes for about 20 minutes and laugh. When we talked on the phone, Mark.
So anyway, who's going to ask me why I'm called a Hardman of Horror? Is it apparent?
Yeah. See, that was that. I had that question on the tip of my tongue.
I was mind reading, you see.
Yeah.
So why do they call me the Hardman of Horror? Well, believe it or not, guys, I wanted to be. I've always, even when I was in the crib, I wanted to be the Godfather of Gore, but that's been taken. The T-shirt was too small, and Dario Argento took it. He took the Godfather of Gore, so I can't have it. So you got to blame Dario Argento for that. But actually, the Hardman of Horror probably sounds better. Do you not think?
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. And you stuck with the alliteration, so that, that's always a good thing.
Yeah. It's got to alliterate, and but how did that come about, really? Well, I don't know if you've seen them on Twitter on my website, but I've been commissioning a few artists, and I had to think of a common theme. So, I thought a persona would be good, so that's how it came about. And so, people can go off and, express things artistically the way they want to.
Yeah.
But the only sort of, rule was that it fit in with the Hardman of Horror.
I remember the first time we seen it, Dave was like, he calls himself the Hardman of Horror now. Have you seen it? I was like, no, that's awesome. I love it.
Mum calls me that as well.
That's what your mom calls you?
And she calls me, well, I think she does. No one else does. I'll tell you what, though, listen up, right? Listen up.
Yeah.
When my book comes out next month, you will be in no doubt whatsoever.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you said
Keep it
that.
Inside, yeah.
Keep it inside. Yeah. So you said that you started off writing just lighter stories, poetry, things like that, and then you're still continuing to get darker. So that's interesting. Like how far? I mean, do you have a plan? Like, did you plan it out to kind of increasingly get more and more dark, or is it just like just a natural progression?
No.
It's just what's happening.
It's just what's happening. I think I am quite a a positive chap. I smile more than once a day. I don't know. I was drawn to it in my teens. I used to read nothing but horror, and then for 20 odd years, I read less horror, and I came back to it. I think, to be honest, if you step back, I think the horror genre is having quite a big resurgence and what have you. I mean, you've got like Richard Stanley redoing a lot of H.P. Lovecraft, haven't you? Colour Out of Space, and he's looking at doing the Dunwich Horror as well. That will be honestly, that will be creepy. So yeah, I think the horror genre is making a resurgence, and for me, I started out quite light with my poetry and stuff, and I don't know really. I sort of wrote about the real world, if you like, the world out there as I see it,
Right.
and then I think as time's gone on, I've looked for a bit of escapism, and I've escaped more and more and more. But I'm saying that because we're just living in funny times at the minute, with coronavirus for starters. But even before then, if you lived in the UK, which I do, we had Brexit and the uncertainty of Brexit. And we seem to be in this funny place socially. We've been there for quite a while now. And I think I've slowly and more just, I don't know, I think as time's gone on, my imagination has kicked in a lot more. And yeah, I've looked probably for escapism, but also just, writing itself, I don't plan that much. I do plan a little bit, but it's kind of writing is like a meditation. And I don't always know, people say, where did these ideas come from? I don't always know. Sometimes it's it's like the subconscious comes, you kind of meditate. I mean, I don't sit there as a Hardman of Horror going, do you know what I mean, and thinking about swimming dolphins. I don't do none of that shit. I don't do none of that. But no, writing's a meditation. It is.
Sure.
And suddenly, you get to that higher place when you're thinking when you're writing.
Yeah.
And all these, like, weird stuff, it comes out of nowhere.
Yeah, man.
It's
Now,
like-
a couple of things for sure. Like, we're all artists here, Yuck and I, for sure. Dave is starting to recognize that he himself is also an artist. But we're all artists here. And I used to say, I can't speak for Yuck, but, we used to say, when I would sit down and create things with my friends, let's just go wherever the pen leads us.
Yeah.
So and that's when you come up with the most real material. So I totally understand. You don't always sit down with the plan and say, I'm going to write this thing about this. You just go where the pen leads you. And
Yeah. Did you
And,
find that really satisfying to do it that way?
For sure, man. For sure. And you can a lot of times surprise yourself, with the end result. Like, wow, I didn't even see this coming. It's a good
crikey,
feeling.
look about, you was talking about education earlier. And, I've still got all my university sort of, all the essays and stuff. If I look at them now, I think, bloody hell, did I really write them? It's weird. It's like someone else wrote them, and it was being in that higher place at that time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like that with music. It's exactly like that with music, writing songs.
Yeah.
It's like you're taking it from the ether. You don't know how the hell that how you came up with that, but it was all
Yeah, and then you can get into all the esoteric stuff, and, is there more out there and all that malarkey? Yeah. You can, there's something bigger out there. You can start thinking about that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And speaking about going back to what you said a minute ago about escapism, I totally understand that, man. I talked to the guys before. Anybody who knows me, they all know that I escape through mostly like sci-fi and cartoons and the most unrealistic things. Anything that I can do to pull me out of the mess of real life. So I totally get
that's
that.
Healthy. Yeah, I think that's healthy.
I'm glad you said that because, some people
As
disagree.
long as you come back every now and again, otherwise the washing up all like builds up.
That's the
And I
thing.
didn't get someone to do the washing up. That's what I mean. Can I just take a call out for someone? Is there anyone out there that can do my washing up? That's out there now. The Hardman of Horror still has to do his own washing up. Can you imagine? It doesn't look good, does it?
I can't imagine.
I don't wear a penny, though. Don't wear a penny, no. Or gloves. So, did you say you were going to ask me about these two stories that you so wonderfully each narrated? The first one, I think, was called The Prairie Laws, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got Prairie Lures.
So The Prairie Laws, wow. That's in the A to Z of Horror Airs for Aliens, published by Red Cape Publishing, and it's on Kindle for 99 pence. That, honestly, that book is only, you can't believe it, can you? That quality is on Kindle for only 99 pence.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's all. That's all you. That's
Anyway,
all it's selling for.
But yeah, can I talk something about the Prairie Laws, where that came from?
Of course, please do.
I'm not hijacking your podcast, am I?
This is your podcast, brother. This is for you.
Hey,
I was saying, I think I didn't know if you had like an agenda and like, but you must remember you talking to the Hardman of Horror, and if I don't get my own way, things could turn bloody. I don't know how. I'll have to levitate 3,000 miles or something, but I'm sure you know.
You can do it. You're the Hardman of Horror.
Well, I'll get my own way, don't I? That's when it comes to the washing up.
Yeah.
I have to do it myself.
We'll work on that.
We'll spray you down with a hose, man.
The Prairie Laws, where did that come from? Well, I went to Canada when I was in my 20s, early 20s. So I borrowed some of the experiences. And then a lot of it is fabricated. So, you take part of an experience and then you fill it in, you weave, surreal stuff into it to make a story. And that's where the Prairie Laws came from. So a little bit of it is based on past experience from many moons ago. And that's how I started. So that's the Prairie Laws, and that's in Ears for Aliens, published by Red Cape Publishing, 99 pence on Kindle, not Twitter, Amazon.
Yeah.
And so what was the other story? There was another story, wasn't there?
Wood Fuchs.
Oh, we don't swear, do we? Is that swearing?
You can swear.
It is swearing. I'm really sorry.
You better be.
I'm really Woodfucks is swearing. Fuck. I shouldn't have said that, should I?
The judge
Hey, man.
time.
Yeah, so where did Woodfucks come from? Well, that was, I don't know, I was thinking about, like, rednecks. And that always makes a good story, doesn't it? A couple of rednecks, go for a fishing weekend, end up at a bent farmer's barn.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, there's all these freaky things walking through the forest or the wood. What's the difference between a forest and a wood?
I don't know, man.
Very little.
You know what? There is a difference, and somebody posed that quote.
Uh-oh. Did we lose Bobby?
Oh man.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, you're coming back. You're good.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, you're
Cool.
good. Go ahead.
All right.
Yeah.
Somebody posed that question to me not too long ago. So, and I didn't really have the answer, so I had to look into it. But unfortunately, I've had too many major concussions and a handful of minor ones, so I can't remember the difference. But there's a difference.
So you couldn't see the wood for the trees.
Plus, I'm legally blind, so that also applies.
Yeah, that's as funny as that.
Bobby be walking into walls.
I do. Fairly often.
Right, so you've got to be careful, haven't you? Especially if you go into, like, some bent farmers, like, barn with stray creatures walking about. So, yeah, that's those two stories that were wonderfully narrated by, I think one of them was done by Bobby.
Yeah.
And I think Dave did the other, didn't he?
I believe so, right?
Sir.
Dave,
I did
we-
Yeah.
when you said that you were
Yeah.
thinking of a couple of rednecks, I thought, I'm your man.
Dave tapped
Oh,
into
no.
that. Dave tapped into that beautifully.
Yeah. Yeah, I really like that one. I really like that story, the Wood folks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. But anyway, that was crikey, that was Aliens and Beasts. And we've just put out, Red Cape Publishing have just put out Exorcism already.
Oh, wow.
That came out last week. So I'm in that as well. I've been really lucky with Red Cape Publishing, getting into those anthologies. That was serendipity. It was being on like social media. I just, I was counting my lucky stars. Red Cape Publishing came along. I mean, how many people put out 26 anthologies?
Yeah, I know, right?
What? That's just fantastic. It's just a great opportunity. So, yeah, I feel blessed by that. And I've managed to make A through to E at the moment. And fingers crossed I may be an F as well.
So they plan on going all the way to Z, huh?
Yeah, I hope they come back as well.
Oh, that's
So,
amazing.
maybe go to 50, 52. Why not?
Heck yeah.
Do you find yourself writing more now, just with everything that's been going on?
The pandemic.
Crikey. This year's been funny because I put my first book out in 2015, right? And I've been very, very slack. Anyway, this year, I've got my second and third book are coming out. So I've been really, honestly, I've put out so much this year. So, yeah, I guess I am writing more, yeah.
Yeah, it's always like you always have something new going on. You'll be like, did you check the website? Have you heard this? I got some big stuff going on now. And next week, yeah, man, you should be proud. We're proud for you.
Absolutely.
Certainly are.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's going on to Twitter, getting involved with Twitter that really gave me a lot of opportunities.
And that's how we met, Dave.
Surprised, really.
That's correct. We met Mark through Twitter, correct?
That is.
That is
Yeah,
correct,
yeah. Because I can't remember how I stumbled across It's Made of Meat, that podcast. I listened to that. I think I was drawn to like the first Planet Raconteur badge, if you like, or the emblem. It was just quite. I thought it was different. And so yeah, I'll listen to that. And the three people behind it, brilliant. It's really good. Down to earth and what have you.
Really appreciate that, man. I have a big, huge smile on my face right now.
Yeah, man. Same here. See, we got into
But
this.
things have really taken off, haven't they?
Yeah, we got into this. It's like, hey, we're going to try something new, try something different. The three of us,
So would you argue that it started as a hobby? Did you see it as a job or did you see it as a hobby? Did you start seriously or you sort of,
I would say
how it goes, kind of?
I would say we started seriously. About a year ago is
Yeah.
when we seriously started thinking like, okay, let's start putting these stories together. And
I would say, go ahead, Yuck. I'm sorry.
no, you go ahead.
I would say it was kind of an evolution because we were already doing other things that kind of led to this happening. Just the way that we became friends in the first place.
Yeah.
And us having the interest in certain things that we have, and when we just came together, it just Yuck is something of a perfectionist when putting things together. Dave and I have such a huge interest in the fields that we're doing. I have a certain amount of experience in working with my voice. I was a radio personality, and and I've voiced other. I was the voice of several gospel stations, believe it or not, up and down the East Coast of the country.
Wow.
But I mean, it's just it was kind of a natural thing, and so when we did finally come together, even though the initial thought and idea may have started as a hobby, it didn't last long. Pretty much from the inception, we wanted to approach it at our absolute best. I hope
Yeah.
I'm making sense.
Definitely.
What do you say,
I've
Dave?
definitely come across.
Dave, what would you say? A hobby, or how would you say we started off?
Dude, I always kind of looked at it as an opportunity.
There you go.
Mm.
You never know what's going to happen with these things. You really don't. So, I thought when Yuck said, "Hey man, what are your thoughts on doing something?" And I'm thinking, okay, what are my thoughts? And I knew it had to do with stories because I'm a lifelong reader.
Yeah.
I've been reading like books since I was 12 or 13. When my mother shoved a copy of one of Gail Marsh's books in my hand and said, "Put the comic book down." That was my house. And I love stories. I love books. I've loved that shit. Excuse me, y'all. I have loved that stuff.
Aw.
For almost my entire life, and I had heard the other podcast of guys that tell stories, and I thought, you know what? I think we can do something a little different. Put our twist on what they're doing and make it something that is special and unique to us. And I think so far we've done that. And so I
agree.
I continue to look on this as an opportunity. If the opportunity carries us in different directions, marvelous. That's marvelous. That's what we were looking for. So, we're just in that place where right now the story is king, the work is king, and we're working with and getting stories from individuals just like you, man.
Yeah.
And we're just putting our spin, our flavor, our little extra, as the Cajuns say, where my mother's family is from, our lagniappe, our little something into the whole thing. And in these great stories and not making them better.
Yeah.
I don't think we make them better. We just make them into something else.
Yeah.
So I want to keep doing. I want to keep finding great stories, and the guys keep finding great things and great stories, and just let's see if we can make something else, because I think something else is wonderful in a world of a lot of sameness.
We're excited about bringing your works to life, bringing your words to life, man, and above everything else, we want to show the utmost respect to authors like you.
Yeah, I mean, the narration's just fantastic. It really is. Yeah, it adds an extra dimension.
Both of them are very good at
the
narrating.
intonation and what have you, the time and the intonation.
Yeah.
Appreciate that, man. We're trying. We're still learning and growing and doing the best we can.
Planet Raconteur definitely got their own flavour, and that's why I keep coming back.
That's what we're going for.
You can keep that one if you want. Planet Raconteur's definitely got its own flavour, and that's why I keep coming back.
I'm already writing the blurb.
You can keep that one.
Beautiful.
It will
So anyway, Yuck said that you were going to phone me, and I thought one of the things I wanted to do, I wanted to play a little game. Are you up for a little game, guys?
Uh-oh.
Are you up for a game, anyone?
Yes, of course. I'm up for it.
All right, okay. So I've got this game. It's called Base Limbo, right? So I'm going to go first and see how deep I can go, and then I'm going to ask each of you to take it lower. Is that okay?
Yes, I think I understand. Yeah.
Okay.
Right, so I'm going to take it deep down. Is that low?
Yeah, that's low.
Yuck. And so, Tim, no, Yuck nasty.
Yeah.
Yuck, can you take it lower?
Yeah, I can take it.
Baritone.
I can take it lower. Oh, yeah. I can take it low.
Yuck, take it down.
I'm down here.
Oh, my God, that's real deep. All right, Papa Dave.
Yeah.
Is Papa Dave Sincere there?
I'm right here.
All right, take it down, Dave. Take it down.
How low do you want it to go?
Low. I'm talking limbo.
Oh, you mean like way down here?
Are you sat on the floor?
Well, yeah.
And then guess what? You never guess what, right? Have you? Was that you, Dave? Have you done yours?
That was me.
That was he was quiet. And guess what? I've saved Bobby to laugh.
Yes, and
Go on, Bobby, take it down.
oh no.
All right, this is just my natural voice.
Oh my God, that is low.
I don't know. I don't know how much lower I can get.
That is low. I think you've won, Bobby.
I think so too.
Definitely.
Oh yeah.
I don't know, man. Yuck has been doing a lot of work on his, man. I don't know.
Well, I need to, yeah.
A lot of cigarette smoking will do that to your voice, Daddy.
Yeah, man.
No,
And I don't
you got to
smoke.
look after your voice. If you're gospel singing, aren't you?
Bobby. You can be the gospel singer, Bobby.
Nah, man. Nah.
That's
No singing.
really cheerful. I like listening. Well, no, I don't mind it. But yeah, I'm the Hardman of Horror. I'll keep that off there.
Hell yeah, man. Is
What
it
sort of music are you lot into then?
all over the place? I like a lot of R&B and rap.
Man,
Bobby's a hit.
I'm a hip hop guy, man.
Yeah.
I like hip hop and mostly funk. Pretty much anything from the 70s, from 1969 to 1979, man.
And Dave loves Britney Spears.
Wow.
I love who?
Britney Spears.
Yeah.
Britney Spears.
Dave's a big Britney fan.
Well, I don't love Britney. She's a very nice person. Many fine qualities. I don't love Britney. No. No, I'm an old rock and blues guy
Right?
Yeah.
from way back.
Yeah.
And you? What do you?
Good.
What kind of music are you into?
I don't know if you've heard of them. Do you like Marillion?
Never heard of them.
Never heard of.
Never heard of them. You're joking. Script for a Jester's Tear.
No.
So yeah, brilliant. It's prog rock, but it was
Okay.
late prog rock. It was about early 80s.
Okay.
So they came to it late, but they've knocked out some really good prog rock. So yeah, I'm listening to that. Tame Impala. You've probably heard of them, haven't you?
No.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
No.
Dave and Bobby are usually the ones who know all the artists and all the songs.
Mm-hmm.
We all have different backgrounds and different influences, man. But, we come together. Sometimes we do end up coming together with some of our interests. So that's the beautiful thing about, being
Yeah.
from all different
Yeah.
places.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, the work is
Good
fun.
man.
We have a lot of fun doing this stuff.
Man, do we ever.
And
Hmm.
that's the main, isn't it? As long as you can keep it fresh and have fun,
Oh yeah.
it is great.
Yeah, we're some goofballs to begin with, so when we get together to work, it's pretty much the same thing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of times we'll hear Bobby say something funny, and we'll just sit there and play it over and over again, laughing at him.
Yeah.
I'm only unintentionally funny, man. I'm the least funny person here, man.
Yeah.
They just find something or a reason to make fun of me.
Oh, isn't that funny though? I mean, I'm in Yorkshire, the UK, and none of you three are in the same room, are you?
No.
Well,
You in-
we're in three completely different parts
Yeah.
of the country.
Yes.
So there's four guys, spread across the globe,
Yeah.
Yeah.
communicating. I mean, it's just mad, isn't it? 20 years ago, it might not have happened. I don't know.
No, this wouldn't have been possible. But now it's more than just possible, man. Like we are legitimate friends. None of us have ever met in person, but like these guys are my friends forever.
Yeah.
Forever.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
how we work.
Yeah.
We just work through Skype. Pop and I get together a lot. Fucking, I just put it on share my screen so he can see everything I'm doing, and we just go to work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This technology's come so far, hasn't it?
Yeah.
And dude, you know, it's kind of cool for somebody like me. I don't come from any creative arts or works. You know, I just come from a regular old working stiff background, and you know I'll call it happenstance, for lack of a better way to put it. That happenstance, friendship, and just being in the right place at the right time brought us together. You know, that all kind of informs me to let me know that, you know, we have something, I'm not going to call it special. I think it is, but I think it'd be a little presumptuous of me, but I think we've got something that has the potential to be really special. And you know, and I'm going to use an incorrect word here. The specialness of it is made so much greater by the people we've gotten to know, like the Hardman of Horror, Mark Anthony Smith.
The Hardman.
I had to say Anthony right one time.
Yeah, you said that right.
Yes, thank you, sir. And we are just...
And thank you.
You're welcome. We are... dude, we're having a good time. And getting to know you better in this particular situation, and Bobby said it earlier, I've got a big smile on my face. It's kind of just glued there right now.
Yeah.
I can see it. I can see it.
Oh, thank you. And it
I
just
close my eyes, I can see that big smile.
It's a privilege. I'm going to say this. It is a privilege to be able to sit here with you today and talk about these things that you're doing and these works that you're producing and the things that we've been lucky enough and privileged enough that you've allowed us to be a part of, as far as reading and producing your work.
Yeah, man.
And let me just say this, man, we're very grateful to you.
Oh, it's too weird though. I'm grateful that someone reads it, that there's a platform for it to be read and heard, you know. So for me, it's two-way. I'm as grateful as well. I mean, you know, you take someone's work. I sit at home on my own, writing away, and then all of a sudden it becomes, you know, you send it off in an email, and then it's recorded, and you know, and it's posted or whatever, and it becomes something else. It becomes something bigger. There's a lot of trust there as well, and you know, I'm lucky that, you know, there's you know, I can trust you three with my work and put it out, and you know, we can put out some really good stuff.
And we appreciate that trust. Thank you.
That's beautiful.
Yes. Yeah. I'm glad that we got to know you. You're a good guy. You're a fucking real good guy. I love joking around with you and talking crap in the DMs and everything else.
I appreciate everything you've done, York.
Yeah.
I really do. Those videos are fantastic. They're doing the rounds, aren't they?
Yeah.
These cracking videos.
Yeah, and I apologize. I took fucking forever to do that one video for you, man. This summer's been pretty crazy.
But I'm saying you're only human, aren't you? I know you're a superhero and all that. I don't know if you dress like a superhero, but you know.
Well, yeah.
You're only human.
Yeah.
He has worn a cape from time to time.
I know.
There's nothing wrong with that. I love red cape.
Mine's not red, it's pink.
Yeah.
Mine's pink. Where do you get this red from?
Red cape, man.
Oh, I get it now.
Publishing.
Red Cape Publishing. Do you know how Red Cape Publishing came about?
No, tell us.
It's an inference to Red Riding Hood.
Red Riding Hood?
Okay.
Yeah, because I was thinking, I thought, I mean, if I said to you Red Cape, what would you think about? I thought about Edgar Allan Poe. But I think I was thinking about Mask of the Red Death or something. So I was completely off track. And they put an interview out, and yeah, it's an inference to Red Riding Hood.
That's very interesting. Huh. Especially if you're familiar with the original version of that story. Very interesting.
Yeah, man.
Indeed.
And once again, we have Mark Anthony Smith, the Hardman of Horror. MarkAnthonySmith.com. What's your Twitter again? Mark Anthony SM16 at Twitter. Did we lose him? Oh, we lost him.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. I didn't run out of money.
Yeah.
I did. I ran out of money.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, Mark, if you're listening back, I ran out of money to call you. Shitty. Well, it is Mark Anthony Smith. He is the Hardman of Horror. Next month, he's got Keep It Inside coming out in October. Make sure to check Amazon for all of his publishings under Red Cape Publishing. But I'm sure you can find it all at markanthonysmith.com.
There you go. MarkAnthonySmith.com will have all the information needed to find any of his fine publications.
Go follow him on Twitter and tell him Planet Raconteur sent you.
That's right.
Hell yeah. Good man right there. I told you guys you would like him.
Love him.
Hell yeah. Love him, right?
Yes, sir.
Do you know the Hardman of Horror?
Hardman of Horror?
Mark Anthony Smith and Red Cape Publishing are proud to team up and bring you the A to Z of horror series. A is for Alien. B is for Beast. C is for Cannibal. D is for Demon.
Mark Anthony Smith.
The Hardman of Horror brings you Keep It Inside and Other Weird Tales. Coming October 2020. Red Cape Publishing. Mark Anthony Smith, the Hardman of Horror.
The Hardman of Horror?
MarkAnthonySmith.com.